Okay, so today we're starting with an EICR, and I realise we haven't done one of these on here before, so I thought I'd take you through the processes of how we do it. First things first, we get all our stuff set up and go and look for the board and have a quick visual look to start with. Then we'll be looking at all the basics like the system type and the main fuse rating if it's got any labels or anything on it, to be able to identify those first as they're all local to the unit. Then I'm always keen to get the fuse board cover off, because to be honest you can tell an awful lot from the install from just taking the cover off and seeing what the condition is like inside. Then a few other bits like doing a scan all the way around the outside of the unit with your hand and visually looking for IP holes and anything like that where entry can be made, and also just for the fixings on the wall as well to see how solidly it's fixed. Then always jump onto a quick scan to see if the water and gas are bonded, so you always go and have a hunt around for those and check the connections on there if they're there or if they're not. Then it's jumping onto all the notes and writing down all the circuit characteristics on the first sheet. In terms of testing, I'll always run a ZE first to check if there's actually an earth into the property, because there's been numerous times where that's not been the case, and to be honest, if you haven't got an earth, a lot of the rest of the testing is null from that point, so you always want to confirm that first. Then whether we're on our own or if we've got someone else with us, we'll start running the visual checks as well, checking for bathroom accessories, zone heights, switches and sockets, looking at all the visual cable connections, if there's sleeving, grommets, if things are earthed, if things are fixed properly, loose connections and anything along those lines. That's always a good one, and we'll scan a good percentage of the accessories in the house for that sort of stuff. Back to the fuse board though, and we'll get our trusty mirror out and start checking all the terminations for the buzz bar underneath, because you can have a good little indication as to if things have been gripped properly, so a handy little mirror like that is always brilliant for that. We'll then jump to our end of line testing and continuity testing, and we can do visual inspections while we're doing those as well. I like to do ring continuity testing from the socket itself, as not in this case, but sometimes the consumer unit is one you don't really want to meddle with, so it's handy to be able to have a nice accessible area to do a ring circuit test. Once all the testing's done though, we make sure we tighten all the connections in the unit before you leave and double check them as well, because that's really important. We will physically test every circuit and get every reading we possibly can on these tests to be as thorough as possible. Then once all the testing is done, we'll have one complete walkthrough to make sure everything's back on, everything's working, and we've screwed everything back that we may have taken off to visually check. Then just a quick confirmation that we've got all our test results, and that's another one done.